Here's the review. Hey, what's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today I'm going to be taking a look at that classic 2006 comedy hit, it's She's the Man. The Man stars Amanda Bynes as a man? Not quite. She stars as Viola, a girl that dreams of one day becoming a famous soccer player, but you see, as it turns out, the entire world is dead set against her as they believe that a woman cannot play sports or do anything at all, at that matter, because they're women. So, to prove them wrong, Viola goes undercover impersonating her brother to prove to the world that women can indeed do things. Perhaps the most compelling and interesting aspect of this film is a detail that I don't think many people are that aware of, and that's the fact that this movie is actually a modern adaptation of a Shakespeare play called Twelfth Night. And what's crazier still is they didn't even change people's names. The four main players here are the same names Shakespeare had, and those names are all surprisingly pretty modern for the most part. Names like Viola, Sebastian, and Olivia. The one name that's kind of like meh is Channing Tatum's character, Duke. I don't know many people in my life named Duke. Anyways, it's more of a factoid that I found interesting. I'm not intimately familiar with a lot of Shakespeare's comedies. I was much more on the drama train, so I was much more of a fan of Hamlet and the classic Romeo and Juliet. That being said, you don't necessarily have to have the knowledge that this was once a Shakespeare play in order to enjoy it, as this is one of Amanda Bynes' better and most memorable roles in general. It really hams up those embarrassing fish out of water scenarios where there's been a gender swap, It's not exactly the first time we've seen a film like this, obviously. Perhaps the most notable version is Robin Williams as Mrs. Doubtfire. Love that movie. Or Dustin Hoffman's Tootsie. Never saw that one. Heck, there's even an argument for Mulan. So I would probably claim that this idea has been done before and it's been done better. But as a teen version of the same idea, it's not bad. However, one of the issues that this film runs into is the fact that it is a teen film. And what do teens have? Hormones. And what did the world not have in 2006 when this came out? Gender or sexual fluidity. So out of the four gender swapping films that I've mentioned thus far, this is probably the most problematic when it came down to stereotypes. Just because it was sometimes sexually fueled with all that teen hormones. It was feminist in nature, obviously, as the entire thing's kind of on the nose in terms of gender equality. So it was about proving to the world that girls are capable human beings. That's great. However, it also didn't really do many favors for homophobia because obviously a lot of the jokes in the film play out where the fact that this girl's playing a boy and she's attracted to another guy and he freaks out anytime she acts interested in him. Made for some good laughs in the mid-2000s, but a lot of what this movie does wouldn't work today. So some aspects of the film haven't aged very well. Another problem with the film is the lack of commitment, kind of. Amanda Bynes is wearing a wig in the film when she could have easily committed to the role a little bit more and just cut her hair. Girls cut their hair all the time just to be as short as guys. It grows back, but the fact that she would rather wear a wig just doesn't make a lot of logical sense to me, especially because one, she's sharing a room with other guys, which means she has to sleep in that wig. And two, she's a soccer player, so she's running around a lot. And who wants to risk a wig flying off mid-game? I think Bynes simply didn't want to cut her hair because she liked her hair long. And yeah, it looks good long. But that wig is obviously fake, and it looks horrible. Also, I wasn't too impressed with the makeup or anything. It wouldn't take too much to make her look male enough, but dang, you can obviously tell that's a girl right there. I know it's not a huge deal because it's just a silly film, but still! Anyways, the film has some very good laughs despite its issues it sometimes has, and that mostly has to do with Amanda Bynes and her incredibly distinct humor, which makes me believe that she was rightfully cast for this role, but I didn't care for some of the writing, especially when it comes down to the plot, which doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I mean, basically what happens is, her girls' soccer team at school is cut, so she goes to another school, and she acts like a guy there to prove that she has what it takes. And I'm just not entirely sure why she didn't just impersonate a guy at her own school. Why she had to go to a different school to do it. I just don't understand that. There's just some facts here that didn't make a lot of sense to me, and I'm kind of wondering if it was done the way it was done because of Shakespeare. I don't know. Overall, I think it's a fair watch. Some things haven't aged super well, but some of the jokes have stood the test of time. So it's a give and take kind of comedy. Take that as you will. And let's take a look at my final score for a second. From a technical, unbiased level, I would consider this a mostly average modern comedy. It's never trying very hard in the visuals, cinematography, editing, or music department. Some of the dialogue is funny for obvious reasons, and some of the writing when it comes down to the stereotypes are a little bit so this score reflects most of that at 68%. When it comes down to my bias score, I will admit that I had a good time watching the movie. I laughed quite a few times here and there, and wouldn't mind rewatching from time to time, as elements of the film feel classic to a degree. This score is 84%. When we average out the two scores together, we come to the final rating of 76%. 76 out of 100 possible stars, or a C+ letter grade. In terms of gender swapping films, I would say it's a lot lower on the totem pole, but in terms of Amanda Bynes films, I would say it's rather high on the totem pole, so it completely depends on the reason why you watch it. What about you guys? What do you think about She's the Man? Let me know in the comment section down below, and as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the #1 critic that I go to when I need a movie pick. Thanks for joining up with us